I'm Rene Galvan. I'm the president and CEO of HAR. I started with HAR in 1996, and I became executive vice president in 1998. HAR is already known as the greatest association in America, and I really just want to build on the foundation that has been built. Members are the heart of the organization, and I really want to hear from you to know what's working and what isn't, so we can continue to make HAR the very best. HAR's commitment to its members will never change. Technology might change, the market will change, but we will always be here to serve you. I met my wife at the University of Texas. We are both CPAs. One of my sons is a CPA, and my other son is an engineer. I guess that makes us a numbers family. HAR is here for you. I'm excited for what's ahead, and I'm honored to serve as the president and CEO of HAR.
Hi, HAR family. Leah Nguyen here, proud TRLP graduate and your 2026 Professional Development Advisory Group Chair. Guess what? The moment you've been waiting for is finally here. Applications for the 2026 Texas Realtors Leadership Program are officially open. If you've ever thought, I want to step up and lead and make a bigger impact on real estate, this is your sign. TRLP is where you'll find your leadership voice, meet incredible peers who become lifelong friends, and unlock the confidence to take your career to the next level. Don't wait. The deadline to apply is March 20th, 2026. Head to trlp.har.com for all the details and get ready to start your leadership journey. This could be your year to shine, so go for it, and I'll see you on the leadership side.
In the beginning, when I was looking for a home, I was doing a lot of things on my own. That's when I started to work with a realtor. There's 100+ things to think about. Having somebody worry about all those things for you, it went from chaotic on my own to a more streamlined process for me.
Good morning and welcome to Member Focus Monday. I'm Christina Schaefer, Director of Social Media and Sponsorships for HAR. Well, February is Black History Month, and as we celebrate, we're taking time to highlight leadership and impact within our industry. And today I'm joined by Michael G. Davis. He is the current president of the Houston Black Real Estate Association, and we're going to talk about advancing opportunities, strengthening communities, and the role that every realtor plays in shaping a more inclusive future. Welcome to the program, Michael.
Well, I'm so happy to be here, Christina. I love what you all are doing. I love this platform, and I love the opportunity to be here and talk a little bit about HBREA.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much again for making time for us. For those who may not know you yet or haven't met you yet, can you tell us a little bit about your background and your role with HBREA?
Yeah, no, I would love to. So as you said before, my name is Michael G. Davis. I'm the CEO of Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. We're actually celebrating 18 years this year, so we're finally an adult here in this real estate space. We grew the organization myself. Shout out to my business partner, Larry W. Brooks. We grew the organization from just us two to now we have over 150 people between licensed agents, real estate students that are part of our organization. So we're super excited about that. In addition to that, I'm the current president of the Houston Black Real Estate Association, HBREA, as some people know us. And I've been a member of HBREA for now maybe about 14, 15 years. And, becoming the president definitely was a highlight. It was something that I was aspiring for because I love the tradition and the history of the organization. I know we're going to be talking about that. But just having the opportunity to where I can impact the Black community. I feel like all communities, or I believe all communities, should have a champion. And the things that we stand for as an organization is just excited now to be in this seat, and I can help. I can take the baton and help push things forward.
Well, thank you. I know HBREA has been a huge part of your leadership journey. I should mention, especially because a comment just came in, TRLP 23. You were also a graduate of the of the Texas Realtors Leadership Program that you went through with HAR as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, my classmates would get on me if I don't, kind of throw a little mud in all other classes' faces. The Bring One event that we just had 3 years in a row, we won the award for having the most participation. So, everybody else is just kind of following our lead, Christina. We're leaving them in the dust.
I know. Yeah, if I heard three-peat once that evening, I heard it at least 15 times. But no, but that's great because it really shows the value of the program and the cohesiveness and really just group participation that each class has. So thank you for that. Well, this year as president of HBREA, what are your top priorities that you have kind of slated for 2026?
Yeah, no, I think that's an excellent question, Christine. And as I get into that, I definitely want to shout out, my HBREA membership. I'm leadership, because this isn't something that I'm doing by myself. One of the things that I really focused on as president, as I was ascending to this position, was making sure that I had the right people around us. Because there's some huge problems that we're looking to solve as an organization here locally. And I got to have the right people with the right level of heart and care. So my board of directors, my officers, my committee chairs, even my presidential cabinet. So I have a number of people that are with me on this journey with me, and also shouting out our members that are faithful and continue to join. Also, our financial partners. We have some amazing financial partners that partner with us. I know Cadence Bank, they've come in. They've already agreed to get on this journey with us this year. New American Funding, as well as Rental Karma. So I definitely want to give my kudos to those people for deciding to get in this with us for 2026. Christina, one of the things that we really want to focus on is creating a citywide movement to where we set a goal for setting a certain amount of increase the Black homeownership rate here locally. Right, so we want to set a standard, set a number of a certain amount of Black families that we want to put into homes in 2026. So as an organization, and we have relationships, collaborators that are going to get in this, that we're going to pull from as well. And we're really going to quantify, how many Black families have we put into homes this year. So that's something that we're going to focus on this year. Another thing is that we want to create a hub, a homeownership hub, where individuals could come in, education, credit counseling, home buyer readiness, down payment assistance, where they can come learn about advocacy efforts, that we're pushing legislation, just all things real estate. So if somebody's interested, if you're a first-time home buyer, if you're a first-time seller, if you're a first-time investor, whatever you are, you'll be able to come to HBREA, you'll be able to come to our hub, and you'll be able to get the resources, get the relationships, get the education to really put you on track to move things forward in the real estate space. So those are two of we have a strategic plan that has about 6 pillars on it, but those are the top 2 right now that we're really working on moving forward.
Excellent. Now, the first one you mentioned, of course, was to increase the percentage of Black home ownership and really get a scale as to the real number and what we're looking at. What do you think about the current state of Black home ownership, and what in there gives you hope for the future?
Yeah. So, unfortunately, we aren't where we need to be as a community when it comes to the home ownership rate. That was a point of contention. I just recently returned back from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was at the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, which is our national parent. We're the local chapter of that organization. And, what we spoke a lot about at this 4-day conference with these individuals from all across the United States, it had to do with, where we are as a community when it comes to the home ownership rate comparatively to, say, 60 years ago, prior to the Civil Rights Act of 1968, when there were obstacles to access to home ownership, and seeing that the home ownership rate for the Black community was actually higher under that environment than it is currently in 2026. So as a real estate professional, I take it personally, right? I take that challenge and I take that problem personally, that I feel like it's up to us to really do something about it and help move that number up. Currently as a community, when you look at the major demographics, when you look at, white, when you look at Hispanic, when you look at Asian, Black home ownership is the lowest on the totem pole, and that's just something that we got to tackle, Christina.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with you at the helm and your leadership team behind you, I know that you guys are going to do some great work this year. Where are you still seeing the greatest barriers to opportunity, particularly here in Houston?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. So what we found, Christina, is, and I spoke about this before, back in the 50s and the 60s, there were true obstacles in place when it came to access, right? So redlining, deed restrictions, laws, legislation, so all those things were in place. Well, they're not in place anymore, but the residue of those things have impacted the mindsets of the population that we're talking about. So, and depending on who you're speaking to, some people feel like there's a lot of trauma that exists in our community. So getting past that, right? Working towards building the trust, rebuilding the trust with the institutions, giving people hope, them having the belief that they can actually purchase a home. So then they'll begin to make the steps to move forward in that direction. That's a lot of what we're dealing with right now, Christina. So it's not the fact of people having access to funding or the down payment or, laws. It's not even really that. It's just the mindset, the belief of the people that we're talking to, and inspiring them that, hey, you too can buy a house. And we can help show you how to do it. You just got to believe and be ready to take action.
Yeah. Thank you so much for pointing that out, because I think that some people do think about the institutional barriers that were created, that existed, but they're not thinking about the mindset and really the active role that realtors need to play there. And if you have a role to play, you need to be aware of the mindset and the barriers. On that note, how can realtors play a more active role in advancing equitable access to homeownership?
Yeah, no, I think, as realtors, just having that consciousness, right? Somebody like myself or the Houston Black Real Estate Association, just making people aware that it's an actual thing when it comes to our community. So if you're working with somebody that's in our community, their approach to the process is going to be different. And I want people to understand, right? I don't want them to kind of prejudge why a Black family may be deciding to do this, or there may be some apprehension, or there may be some fear, right? It's very important that, number one, as realtor members, if you're working with somebody that's in that community, that, number one, you definitely got to care. Like you gotta want them to have it, right? You got to care, because you're going to have a level of patience and a level of care for the situation, number one. And number two, you got to understand how important trust is. So that means as a realtor, look, if you say you're going to do it, you got to do it, right? You got to hold yourself accountable to the standard that we hold ourselves to. That's a part of our code of ethics. That's a part of that fiduciary responsibility that we wear when we have this R on. Well, it's very important when you're speaking with somebody and working with somebody in our community, because that may be the thing that gets them to the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes, and this is not at all a dig, of course, on realtors, but a lot of realtors, they think about that bottom line. They think about getting to the closing table, and but some of the things you mentioned, the care, the trust, those are things that are going to get you more clients. So even if you were to think about it from that perspective, getting somebody through a transaction that they never thought they would get through, how many leads is that going to create for you, right? If you're trying to think about it from a bottom line perspective.
Yeah, no, I love the way you frame that, Christina. And man, maybe they just haven't been in the business long enough. I don't know. But to me, it seems like a very obvious concept, right? The more that you care, the more that you want to help people, the humanity in us is going to see that, and it's going to attract more business. But hey, they don't get it.
Yeah. So, obviously HBREA is doing a lot of work to educate consumers and really help them. How is HBREA also supporting developing real estate professionals within the industry, realtors and the like?
Yeah, nah, you know what? So, the look, the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few, right? So as an organization, we have to train the army, right? We got to prepare the individuals to go out there and work within our community. If we're going to be successful in increasing the homeownership rate in the Black community, then we have to have professionals that are skilled at working with these individuals, speaking to this mindset that we're talking about, understanding this level of care and this trust, being able to employ tactical empathy and enhance your people skills so you can truly get people to believe enough and trust you enough to where they walk blindly, right? A lot of if a person's never bought a home before, then every single thing that they do is foreign. They've never experienced it before, right? So that means all they have to hold on to is your trust, your word, your guidance. Man, that requires a lot of trust. So having people skills and the level of people skills that's needed, you have to be developed. Agents have to be developed. Realtors have to be developed. So HBREA, we're working on putting that programming in place where a member can come in, they can get developed to that level, and then we can send them out there with all this opportunity. And ultimately, like you said before, it'll increase their bottom line if they trust the process.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. Well, there are a couple comments that have come in. Of course, some people I see some fire emojis. People are enjoying what you have to say. Michelle Godin Lambert said trust, relationships, and most of all, integrity. So yes, doubling down there. And a really great comment here from Carlos Cardona. He said, this is exactly the kind of thinking and professionalism that separates the average from the exceptional. So thank you for that comment there, Carlos. Well, very good. Michael, now, obviously you said we have to train the Army, right? What role does mentorship and leadership development really play in strengthening representation in real estate?
Yeah, no, that's another great question, Christina. So for me, leadership is how you show up, right? You need to model it, right? I think a lot of leaders miss that point, right? It can't be the do as I say, not as I do thing. Like that doesn't work. Right. So, you first have to decide and you have to commit to the process. As leaders, we got to commit to the process. Right. And then we also got to commit to growth. We got to continue to be moving. We got to be developing. We have to be growing. We have to be putting ourselves in a position to where we're the type of individual where somebody wants to follow us. Because these are big problems. Like this we're talking about the Black homeownership rate. That's not an easy problem. Like if it was an easy problem, it'd have been solved, right? So it's going to require the best of all of us. And that starts at the top, Christina. That starts with the level of leadership. So leaders got to make a commitment. It's got to be more than the title. Like the title doesn't matter at all. Like for me personally, being president of HBREA, somebody calling me president, that doesn't matter. What it was as president, what does that give me access to? Who does that give me access to? What kind of platforms do I like? That's what that role was about. So those are the kind of leaders that we need that can tackle big problems.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, you mentioned some of your community partners and sponsors earlier on. Are there any other specific partnerships or community initiatives even that you're focused on right now that you want to share with us?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Again, want to shout out Cadence Bank. Want to shout out New American Funding. Want to shout out Rental Karma because those are the ones. And I know we're going to have other financial partners. We just haven't solidified the relationship just yet. But we're definitely in communication with other individuals that want to come into this. They want to get into this fight with us. They believe what we believe in. So, again, when it comes to the challenges that we have, with the community, we understand it's education. So we got to be able to have those platforms in place to where we can educate the consumer and educate them the right way. We got to have platforms in place to where we develop, like you said, the Army, the membership, offer that level of training where they can, grow their businesses. And we have partners that are willing to come in and help us fund those initiatives as an organization. And we even have some partners that are willing to come in and co-create with us some of the programming. Because at the end of the day, we only partner with individuals that care about what we care about. Right. So for us, it's not just about, hey, these people want to give us some money, like they want to give us 10 or 20 or 30. No, they have to believe in our mission. They have to believe in our vision and what we're looking to achieve, because that's the kind of alignment that we're looking towards. So most of our programming is going to begin in April, and it starts off with our Realtors Week, and that's a week of events that we do. And we do it every year, and we do it in partnership with all of the chapters. So there are over 120 chapters within NAREAB, and we all do programming that the week of the 12th, April 12th is what we're going to be doing. And so, and we're going to have events that are going to be catered towards consumers, because that week's going to end. We call it Community Wealth Building Day. So that's the flagship of that week, and that's consumer based. But we're also going to have events that's geared towards the real estate professional. Like we'll have some networking mixers, because it's very important that we put you in the same rooms with individuals that you can build a relationship with. So we're going to create those opportunities. We definitely want to, every year we do what's called the HBREA report, the State and Housing in Black America. And we have an event during Realtors Week where we present the updated report. So everybody, I spoke about this earlier, about this awareness, right? The HBREA report gives everyone the awareness of what's going on in the Black community as we champion this problem. And then we're also going to do a day, because mental health and stress, this job is, I tell new agents, I say, look, this is one of the hardest jobs you'll ever experience. I know you think it's easy. I know you think it's a side hustle. That's why you want to get into it. But you really about to experience how hard this is. Well, we're going to have a day during Realtors Week where we highlight mental health and stress, and give some techniques and some tactics that are very, very important that you have to employ when as realtors. So it's going to be an exciting time. I want everybody to definitely be on the lookout. We're going to start getting some marketing pushed out, and we would love for you all to participate with us during Realtors Week.
Excellent topics that you guys are going to be covering in April, and we can drop a link to your website. I know somebody actually put it in the comments. Shannon Higgins actually put in the comments there as well, so we can drop that in the chat for everybody so they can take a look and be aware. Michael, we were talking before we got started this morning about just how much I enjoy getting to have these conversations with different leaders. What conversations do you think the industry still needs to have around equity and opportunity?
Yeah. Well, one of the questions that you asked earlier was, hope. What kind of gives me hope? And, as I attend these conferences, prior to going to Tulsa, I was in Austin at the Texas Realtors winter meeting. And, and then prior to that in November, I didn't have to go far. I was here in Houston at NXT. But at all of these major events, the conversation is being had. Like we're talking about what are the solutions, right? Now, unfortunately, none of us has figured it out yet. We haven't figured it out. But the fact that we're attempting to solve it, right, is a good thing. And I think what's important, Christina, is they got to have people like myself and others that when we're in those rooms, we have to be courageous enough to say something. Even if it's only us, even if we feel like we're the only voice in the room, we have to be courageous to stand up, and we have to put it out there, because if we're going to solve the problem, it's going to take all of us, not some of us. So I don't think there's really any new conversations that we need to have. We need to keep working on it together, all of us, so we can work through some of the challenges and the issues. And again, for us, it's the Black homeownership rate, but there are many issues that impact several communities when it comes to our industry that we need to work on fixing for everyone.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Well, you mentioned solutions and solving the problem for realtors who want to be a part of the solution. What practical steps can they take today?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're like, I say the same thing with our partners, right? We're not here just to have 1,000 members, 2,000 members. Like, that's not what we're about. We're looking for like-minded individuals that believe in the mission and the vision, and they believe in what we're about, right? We're the premier real estate association for Black professionals. So it's not just about real estate licensed agents. Like, that's not what any Black professionals. So that's mortgage professionals, appraisers, inspectors, insurance. We have a multitude of individuals who are real estate professionals, right? And yes, we are the Houston Black Real Estate Association, and we are working towards the challenges that are in the Black community. But Christina, you don't have to be Black to join. You just gotta believe in our mission and our vision and what we stand for. So we have a number of members that are of other ethnicities, and we love having them be a part of it. It's a diversity that comes to the organization. So again, if you see this, what I've spoke about today, the challenges that we're championing and that we're working towards in the Black community, and if you want to come in and you want to work alongside of us, I definitely offer you and invite you to become a member of the Houston Black Real Estate Association and get into the work with us.
Very good. Well, obviously, we think it's really important for people to get more involved. We shared the link in the comments for people to take a look at it. And also, we shared a link to the events calendar as well. Shannon Higgins also made a comment that I wanted to share. She said, we have a broker circle meeting in March. Watch our Facebook page for more info. All brokers and team leads are welcome to attend. Wonderful. Just a couple other comments here. Leah Wynn said, we also need to act with courage and integrity in representing tenants as well. So very good. And then a comment here from LaDonna Parker. She just said, love it. Lead boldly by example, Mr. President. So gotta love those comments coming in.
Shannon, shout out Shannon Higgins, she's a part of my presidential cabinet. She's our director of programs. So, she's doing her part, like, hey, Mr. President, let's let them know about all the different programming. And then Miss LaDonna Parker, who's actually a past president of the Houston Black Real Estate Association. And she actually held a national committee position nationally with NARAB. So I got some heavy people on here checking me out. Christine, yes. I better be careful what I say.
Well, and another one here, our current chair of the board, Teresa Hill, just said HBREA is a fun group too. So we always like to have fun as well. Well, Michael, this has been really helpful, and of course we've shared those links. Just on a personal note, I wanted to ask you. Again, we're rounding out Black History Month, but obviously these topics are year-long topics and things that we should continue to have the conversations, as you said. What is this moment, serving as president of HBREA, being able to have these conversations, what does this mean to you personally as a leader in this space?
Yeah, no, for me, Christina, it's an opportunity to have a level of impact with people, right? So for me, that's a really, really big rock in my life, impacting people, right? So being the president of the Houston Black Real Estate Association has now given me a vehicle to where I can, while I have the baton, because it's temporary, right? But while I have it, I want to run this race as fast and as hard as I can. And then when the smoke clears, hey, we'll see what progress I made before I hand it off to the next person. So, being Black History Month, and then understanding that it's not just a month, it's 365 days of the year, but it's just a good opportunity for us to just be showcased and just remind others the importance of what we're working on in our community.
Well, Michael, thank you again for sharing your perspective today and for the leadership that you bring to HBREA and to our industry. Again, conversations like this remind us that expanding opportunity benefits not just individuals, but our entire real estate community. So we really appreciate your time today and, of course, your leadership.
Absolutely. Well, again, Christina, thank you so much for the opportunity. I know when we were off camera, I was, just letting you know how appreciative our local association. If people haven't gone to national conventions, real estate conventions, and maybe met representatives from some of the other associations throughout the United States, then they really are not able to appreciate what you all do here as the Houston Association of Realtors. You guys are really the belle of the ball. We are totally blessed here in Houston with the partnership that we have with HAR. So you all keep doing the great things that you're doing and setting the example in our industry as well. And we'll continue to collaborate and work together on things.
Deal. Thank you so much, Michael. And thank you to everyone for tuning in for today's Member Focus Monday. I do want to just mention to be sure to tune in next week. March is Women's History Month, and we're going to be joined by leaders from all 6 of the local WCR chapters. We're really excited to have all 6 chapters represented on an informative panel next week at 9 a.m. So be sure to tune in. That's all for this week. I hope you have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.